You may not know Michael Williams, but you'd probably want to be paid like him. Same for Ed Haldeman. They're the respective CEOs of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, the government-sponsored firms which back at least half the mortgages in America. According to records from the Securities and Exchange Commission, Williams and Haldeman each made about $900,000 in salary last year, and each is getting paid about $2 million in bonuses. Earlier this year, the federal government approved nearly $13 million in bonuses for Williams, Haldeman, and 8 other execs from the two firms, despite the fact that millions of Americans are still struggling to make it through the housing crisis and that Fannie and Freddie have been hemorrhaging cash this year. They lost $10 billion in the last quarter and just asked Congress for more money.
It's just completely excessive and uncalled for.
Republican Senator John Thune is spearheading an effort by 60 Democratic and Republican senators to cancel the bonuses. They've sent a letter to the government body that oversees Fannie and Freddie, the federal housing finance agency, asking it to revise the compensation policy for those execs. The FHFA approved those bonuses.
Why would you be rewarding this kind of behavior or this kind of performance, at least at a time, when we've got all these national economic issues and people across the country are very frustrated?
Contacted by CNN, officials at Fannie and Freddie wouldn't comment on the bonuses.
Their overseer, the FHFA, says it's reduced executive pay at Fannie and Freddie in recent years, that those firms have to pay that kind of money to attract the kind of talent needed to manage $5 trillion in mortgages. And officials here tell CNN the reason those execs got those bonuses was because they took the right steps to turn things around at Fannie and Freddie after the mortgage meltdown.
A meltdown which triggered a massive bailout from the feds.
How big was the bailout of Fannie and Freddie compared to the auto bailout and some of the others?
Yeah, it was about $170 billion so far for both entities, both Fannie and Freddie. And I think the estimated tally, from what I understand from the Congressional Budget Office, is somewhere in the neighborhood of about $250 billion. So from that standpoint, it's large relative to these other bailouts.
Analyst Cliff Rossi, who once worked at both Fannie and Freddie, says the current execs at those firms were put in place since the bailout to clean up the mess from before. He says they've started to do that, but also says they haven't done enough to modify more homeowners' bad mortgages. So he's on the fence about whether they deserve their bonuses. Brian Todd, CNN, Washington.